Hello and welcome to the Luna Final Project by me, Kenneth Fletcher. A short introduction about the story about Luna. The story of Luna is about a boy named Liam who wanted to transition to become a girl named Luna. I personally felt that this project was extremely difficult for me per se, since I have a history with transgender people and the military that I joined and served in for 15 years. It wasn't easy to read the story and to follow along and not have an opinion. My opinion is not that transgender people are not welcome, but they need to have a set of rules and regulations that are good for them and good for everyone else. Also, my opinion of this was that Reagan was the real star of the book. That Reagan is Liam's sister, and Reagan defended Liam / Luna the entire way, all the way up into adulthood, basically. Reagan put aside the things that she wanted to take care of her sibling. So I think that Reagan deserves most of the credit, even though these things were happening to Luna. Coming to terms, we have to talk about Luna coming to terms what was happening to her at such a young age. She knew automatically that she didn't feel right. She didn't feel like the person that she was. Liam becoming Luna was a big step for her. Everyone had to come to terms on what was going on. In the book, she didn't have to do this alone. Like I said before, Reagan helped her. I personally believe that anybody should be able to live their own life the way they want to live. As long as you're not hurting people, as long as you're not doing anything dangerous, being able to accept yourself for who you are is a big part of being a person. Transgender bullying. Transgender people have a very hard time. Transgender bullying or transphobic bullying is defined as prejudice or negative attitudes, views, or belief about trans people. Not about the person themselves. You're just stereotyping. You're just making things up. Everyone gets offended when they see a trans person. I wouldn't say everyone. A lot of people. But they don't know who that person is. Luna was bullied at school, and Reagan defended her. Luna was bullied at the bookstore, and Reagan defended her. Luna had all these emotions and feelings she had to deal with. And I'm so glad that she had a sister to help her and to deal with these issues alongside her. If I had to put myself in Luna's shoes, I would not just be upset with the things that were happening to me because of the way I decided to live my life, but I would engage in physical fights. I have no sympathy or regret to not being able to defend myself and believe in myself for the things I want to do. Not that I'm saying I would ever be transgender, but this is how I believe people should start thinking about transgender people. They are people too. Some of the challenges that Luna had. In the book, Luna was often asked to play sports by her father. And because Luna was Luna and her father didn't know that Liam was Luna, she handled this poorly. She kept putting it off. She never really came out strong and said, "Dad, I don't want to do this," I would want to do other things that cater towards my wants. Reagan was put in the middle of her father and her transgender sister. Reagan had to keep Luna's secret while also trying to play advocate for Luna at the same time. The biggest challenge, I think, was the ending of the book. Luna tells Reagan it's a new start for both of them. And that's where we have that imagery and that analogy of the butterfly, the caterpillar breaking out of the cocoon and becoming the butterfly. This in itself is a huge challenge. It wasn't just Luna who has a new start. It was Reagan too. Reagan no longer had to always be paying attention and defending, deflecting, carrying the secret for Luna. All those years that she looked after her transgender brother. And now she could go and live her own life. And that's what really brings me to the point where I think that Reagan was the star of the book. Transgender individuals in the United States. Trans people in the United States. For a long time, trans people did not have a lot of rights. They didn't have all the rights that normal, I don't want to use the word normal. They didn't have a lot of the rights that the average person had. The Transgender Persons Protection Rights Act of 2019 finally gave trans people a lot of their missing rights. 2019, that was 3 years ago. They didn't have all their rights until 3 years ago, right before the start of the pandemic. The ALCU is an organization that works with courts and legislators to defend and preserve the rights of trans people. Just because a person is trans doesn't mean they're not a person. You can't take away their rights. Our country has a very big history of taking away people's rights and not seeing people as people. We had that big, long slavery thing, remember? This is a huge challenge because they had to make rights and rules and laws for, and specifically for, transgender people. And receiving these rights ensured that trans people had the same opportunities as everyone else. Some incidents of bullying transgender people. In this specific incident, a 14-year-old teenager named Willow was facing regular harassment at school. Willow attempted to use the girls' bathroom. He was a transgender boy going into the girls' bathroom. A classmate yelled and told Willow to leave. These are extreme challenges. I say this because if you are a male and you transition to female, at what point are you considered a female? At what point are you allowed to have the same opportunities or same injustices as a female? When are you allowed to go into the women's bathroom? Is it walking down the hallway one day and you say, hey, I'm a female now, and you just walk into the bathroom? Can you flip-flop and you say, hey, I'm a boy now, and go back to the boys' bathroom? We need to make some legislative decisions here. No one can just say they are transitioning and use the bathroom as they please. I don't believe it's an easy answer. I believe there should be a policy put into place so everyone can understand the rules and accept them, even if they don't want to. More challenges. In this article, a transgender boy was harassed and ridiculed in the boys' bathroom. There was a catch. This boy, who was transgender from girl to boy, was punished instead of his attackers. In the state of Tennessee, there is a law called the bathroom law. It went into effect and it makes it punishable for a transgender student to enter a bathroom with another student. This means if there's another student in the bathroom, that person cannot enter. They have to make sure it's empty. So they're always in some form or other looking over their shoulder to make sure it's empty. Sad. People in the United States. Trans people in the United States. This article is about people who face challenges at school and foster care and juvenile justice. The survey done by GLSEN found that 75% of transgender youths feel unsafe at school, and those who stick through it are often have lower GPAs and miss school more often, which means they're being bullied. They don't want to go to school. I would not want to be bullied. I would not want to miss any courses. I would just want to get this done and live my life as a normal person. My honest thoughts. If I were a transgender person, I would want to feel safe and secure in my own skin. The rules that apply to everyone else should apply to me, and I don't want to be harassed or ridiculed for wanting to live the way I want it to be. And that's me putting myself into Luna's shoes. My personal feelings. I honestly don't care what people want to do with their lives. I don't care if you're transgender or not. As long as you're not hurting people and you're not being disrespectful, I don't care. I don't like to call people by pronouns. If you're born a boy, then you're a boy. If you want to transition to a woman, you're still a boy who just transitioned to a woman. I don't have to call you he or she or her or they or them. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't be an Asian guy because I want to, even though I'm a black man. Thank you for listening to my Luna Final Project. This is Ken Fletcher signing off.